Hello, are you out there? It's Mark with Redo Over, and we are back to Stellaris 4.0. No DLC, in-depth playthrough slash tutorial. It's a light tutorial. We left off where we had just loaded up a colony ship at Fue Station, and I'm noticing that I have 2 colony ships there. That kind of stinks, because I don't think we're going to need a 5th colony for a while. I don't even see another potential planet right now. So yeah, I'm just going to sit on it. I don't think you can get those resources back if you delete it from the queue. Because we're talking 200 consumer goods, 200 food, 200 alloy. That stinks. It's okay. We're just gonna, I don't know how that happened. It did. My bad. I'll blame someone else for that. So I did notice something though, when I logged in here. I'm looking at my colonies. Up here, we have these little golden icons popping up by our colonies. There's a variety of them. I think one of them is like there's blockers to clear, low, like lack of jobs. Well, here, okay, migrating pops. It's a little suitcase. I don't know. I always thought it was like a briefcase, but it looks like a suitcase. Migrating pops. This planet has unemployed pops that will automatically migrate to other planets. So last session, I specifically asked the question, would having surplus jobs on a planet, meaning empty, unfilled jobs, increase the amount of the attraction for migrants to come to this colony? It's more or less answers it yes. If you have unemployed pops, they're going to go to where there's a job. They are not just satisfied with being shuttled into the civilian position. This is 100% clarification on this. The other icon there is a little house, and that's just telling you this planet can support the construction of additional buildings. So if we click on, say, Elisa Prime, which is our newest colony, you can see we have 4 available building slots. So oftentimes you're going to see that little house symbol because it does take quite a while to get all your building slots filled up. I'm not certain if the building icon translates to having a district specialization available. I mean, you can see it's kind of a similar plus sign, but I don't know if we'll ever get to figure that out, but I'll keep an eye out for it if I can get that answer. But yeah, we can see on Elisa Prime there are no unemployed people. The reason for that is presumably we have 2 available jobs. We need to get more jobs built up. That's going to mean more buildings, more districts on our planets, which is fine. We'll get to that in a moment. But check this out. Let's go to Fula. I was looking at this. We have 4 elites, we have 10 specialists, and we have 5 unemployed. But it actually gives you information about migration. Worker unemployment, Babaki, 5 of them. So these are just 5 base workers who are looking for work on the planet. I would consider that, again, probably about 5 million of our people. These unemployed pops have a 10% chance per month to spontaneously migrate to other colonies within your empire with jobs, housing, and decent habitability. So that means if it's a 50% habitability planet, they are probably it's less appealing. Like that would be a rough life. 50% would probably be better than Mars. But it would probably be more like living in Antarctica, right? On our Earth. It would not be great habitability, I'm guessing. And it says right there, their most likely migration destination is Elisa Prime. Awesome. And that's coming from 100% habitability homeworld. So jobs are really important to people. So altogether, what it means, and let's just check Isius real quick. Similar, very little unemployment, but there are no available jobs. So on all of our worlds right now, Fula, Isius, and Elysia, we need more jobs. Now, last episode, we talked about the need for generating more minerals, because at this stage of the early game, we are in the building phase. Buildings take minerals. So we need a lot more of those. Probably is the right thing to focus on next. Remember, we just gotten our consumer goods kind of straightened out in episode 11. We're up to a plus 27 again. Yeah, we can fund quite a few temples with that. I think each temple takes around 3 to 4 consumer goods. So we got a lot of... I'm just pulling that number out of my headspace. But yeah, I think we have a lot of headroom for our specialist jobs right now. But we do need those minerals. I think that's our next priority. And then, of course, more priests. You can never have too many priests. So what do we want to do? Well, we're low on minerals. I was supposing we could cash in some of these 1,200 trade goods get minerals to get some miners stations working, and then we'll get on top of that production of minerals without having to buy them off the market. But yeah, we're going to kind of kickstart it right here if we can. So if I jump to the minerals option here in the market, I am quite limited on how much of this I can buy, but it is what it is. We'll buy 500. Leaves us a little bit of trade. If we had an emergency, we could get a little bit of something. And I think for the time being, Fula is our best bet for mining. It's not particularly well suited for it, but we do have some pops available. And I think, yeah, I only said because Isius Prime looks like it's going to be the ecclesiastical center, which is fine. And the Elysia is the industrial world. Now, don't get it twisted. We certainly can drop a farm or drop a mining district or drop a generator district on our different worlds, even if the colony is not specialized for that. Oftentimes, you have to. You can't go full specialization into all these resources up here until you have a matching number of colonies functionally. Just think about it. We would need an energy colony, a mineral colony, a farming colony, a consumer goods colony, an alloy colony, a unity colony, and a research colony. We could go that far. Theoretically, you could even do a trade colony. And then, of course, you have your home empire capital. I don't think they allow you to switch that off. Oh, well, I stand corrected. There are now capital specializations: forge capital, factory capital, trade capital. So let's just say, though, we're around 8 to 10 colonies needed to have a specialized world for each thing you're generating, just approximately. So we're only about halfway there. We're closing in our 4th colony, so we have a ways to go. I think this also really lends itself to when you're asking the question as a player, how many colonies should I have? How many are too much? Well, it has a little bit to do with the civilization you build. It has a little bit to do with your play style. In my case, I don't like juggling 20 colonies. I don't like having so many colonies over here that I have to scroll up and down the little sideliner to see them all. I like having around 10 to a dozen because it kind of fits nicely in here. If you count it out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, you could see, with headers, yeah, you could fit about 11 or 12 colonies in there. It'd push everything else down, but that's how I feel about it. And in general, that 10 allows me to really specialize in one world for each category and maybe doubling up on one. But certainly now that the capital worlds have their own specialization, which is due to 4.0, we will look through these, but we're not going to do it right now. Now is not the time. Why? Because until we reach the point where we can have a specialized colony for more or less every resource we are interested in, Fula, our capital, and your capital is going to represent the safety net that's producing a little bit of everything so that you don't break some economic or research facet of your world. If we were to say turn off the research at Fula right now, we would stall out our very limited research, and we would not have research. You could just break your empire. It's possible. You could kill off. Trade would probably be a little tricky because I think trade's coming from civilians to some degree. But yeah, you could shut down and not have enough alloy. You could not have enough consumer goods. You could not have enough food, minerals, energy. Definitely research. You could probably go into the negatives on Unity if you hired a bunch of leaders and weren't producing Unity. So yeah, until we get up to, I would say, 7 or 8 colonies total, we wouldn't want to consider specializing our empire capital. Now, I'm sure there's other people out there who have ways and reasons that you would do that earlier, but I'm just saying in general, for anyone who's like watching my stuff and is, kind of just piecing together the game of Stellaris themselves, don't mess with your capital until you've got a pretty robust economy around your empire. But we will look into it eventually. We will specialize someday. It's going to be so cool. But for the time being, we have exactly 1,000 minerals. Oh my gosh, we are so mineral poor. But we're going to go to Fula, and we're simply going to build a mining district. Good news is it'll be built quickly in 240 days for just 300 minerals. That's nice. It's going to get us 200 miner jobs. So it's like 2 sets of 100. It'll be a lot more minerals. Approximate production 13.24. God, that doesn't seem like very much. It is what it is. Do we bite off on another one of our worlds and start sending them into mineral production? It may be worth it here on Isius, only because Isius has a boat ton. Look at this. I mean, they're well geared up for mining right now. Let's do it. We could literally be having a couple hundred mineral per month production, like plus 200 minerals. It wouldn't hurt us. We have that much building to do. All of our colonies could use building every few months. Pretty much by the time they finish a building, they're ready for another building. And we have not hit our specializations yet. In each of these, if you recall, is coming in 1,000 minerals. So we have big need. We have bigly need here, folks. Let's run that clock, though. We've spoken enough. Enough chit-chat. It's time to play the game. I'm going to shut up now for the next 30 minutes. Something happened. Whew. I couldn't be quiet any longer. It's not possible for me. What did we get? Bad Luck Lawrence got the defense engineer trait. Let's see. By the way, I was whining how you can't click on the icon and get to the leader. Okay, but it does say here, the green text is telling you how to interact. So we have click to select the hijacked fleet, which is what we got there. And it does show our little commander, Bad Luck Lawrence. I'm using my fingers over. I'm all... Here we go. Here's Bad Luck Lawrence. What else can we do? Double click to go to location, right click to dismiss, control click to open the message settings for this notification. Oh, wow. So even none of those options will lead you to the leader's page for Bad Luck Lawrence. Interesting, whatever. We're going to dismiss that, though. We can see all of Bad Luck Lawrence's stuff down here. They're Minister of Defense. They're total badass. They have 3 levels. But check this out. Defense Engineer is a counselor that gives them plus 15% to platform damage and plus 10% to defensive platform hull points. So if we had defensive platforms around our space stations, they would be really beefy. They'd be really durable. 2 levels of Crusader, which gives us unity every time we kill enemies. Yeah, we need to get Bad Luck Lawrence into combat somewhere. Kill some Xenos. We're pacifists, so it works to not kill aliens if possible. Cautious, ship weapon range, yeah, and unyielding hull points. Yeah, this guy's a beast. I mean, like, no joke. Bad Luck Lawrence is a heck of a commander. However, I do notice right here, we need to repair the fleet. Oh, they finally made it back to safe space. Good for them. Good for them. If you recall, they'd gotten messed up by aliens in the... What the heck is that? The oh my lord. Ifriri system? And the Aestar system, which is actually a really cool name. I like that one. Okay. Do we need our military fleets to be doing anything right now? We could join them up. Let's just check the Belt Manglers. They do have a commander, Maroon and Jones. The Asteroid Ambushers have no one, and the Hijack Fleet have Bad Luck Lawrence. I would like to maybe group up some of these ships a little bit. 2 groups of 10. It's not that big of a deal, but let's click. Oh, they are going in for repairs. I'll tell you what. I'll wait till the fleet gets there. All 3 fleets will be together, and then we can combine them or divide them between our 2 commanders. Okay. Running the clock. I'm watching these buildings right here. Want to get those mineral districts built, and we'll see how much we gain. Oh. Faction founded. A new faction has recently began gaining traction in the international landscape of the Principality of Fula. They call themselves the Union of Divine Guidance. Their memberships support spiritualist and conservative values. Very cool. we're going to pause and take a look at that really quickly. Up at the top, so we do have a politics tab. FYI, we're almost always on the overview tab here, but we do have a separate ships tab if you just because you might have many civilian ships and many military fleets, and we do have a politics tab now. Under there is a single faction. Now, factions are ultimately a supply of unity. It represents a political faction, and you can have more than one of them. They'll usually be opposed to one another in different ways, kind of like pulling in different directions, putting pressures on the government and trying to attract members of the populace to their faction. It's kind of what's going on there. So you can see right now the approval within our society of this faction is 85%. And we have a nice breakout right here. The base for any faction will start at 50%. Life organic. Yes, because we're spiritualists. That's important to spiritualists, is that you are in your organic body that you were created by the universe in. Totally normal. 0% modification on that. Pious polity. I don't honestly know what the word polity means. And I almost practically don't know what the word pious means either. I think pious means you're like, oh, fudge. Gosh, I'm so bad at defining words. Pious would be like that you adhere to the tenets of your religion as pious. I think so. But I really don't know what polity means, quite honestly. But it's a 5%. Homogeneity, plus 10%. Wow. Wow. That means not other types of xenos? I guess. Yeah, okay. Ruler of their ethic. Okay. Our emperor, the emperor, all hail, is the ethic aligned with this faction, giving a big plus 15%. And finally, represented on the council. Yes, also represented. I probably threw any member of your council that has the alignment. We're going to dig into this a little bit deeper. It's confusing. It's interesting. It's not that important. You can play entire games where you don't look at the faction or do anything with it. It'll just give you a little bit of unity. So, but maybe in 4.0, they've changed stuff up. I don't want to go too crazy here, but you can see it's just simply generating 3 unity right there. 3 unity a month. It's a unity resource. And supporters here, yeah, we have 58 followers of this faction on Isius, 21 on Elisa, and 157 on Fula. So can we click in here and bring up, yes, the factions page. The other way to get to that would be under government. Sorry, factions. Yeah, here we go. Council tab, faction tab. This is yes. Policies and edicts. Note to self. Oh, I forgot. Okay, we got 2 things we're gonna do. We're gonna look at the faction, then we're gonna go to our edicts because we got some to turn on here. It's gonna be sweet. All right, let's look at the breakdown here. Name of the faction. It gives you a little blurb here. Very cool. Here's your approval. You want that higher is better. This is the number of people involved in it. This is the support, faction support for the Union from. Yeah, where does support come from? Support represents the political strength of the faction. Support is increased by the amount of pops in the faction. Okay, it's 100% because they're the only faction. We'll have to see what happens when we get other factions. They'll just randomly pop up occasionally. You won't have too many of them, but you'll get to 2 or 3-ish. Yeah, and you hopefully get unity out of all of them. Ethic, there you go. It's the spiritualist ethic. So this matters when we look at our leaders, and we're going to see whether the leaders are spiritualists and whether they're represented on the council, things like that. So we'll get back to that. Here we go. These are the issues. These little punch list items are represented right over here. You notice 5 green dots, and we have 5 issues. Now you can mouse on each issue. Allowing for the replacement of organic life with robotic workers will displease the Union of Divine Guidance. Do not make AI machines. We will not like that. Now, if we had AI robots in our civilization right now, working farmer and mineral, mining jobs, this would probably be a red dot, not a green dot. Red meaning stop or, no good. Green meaning good, go. And thus the approval and all that would be lower, and we would lose production of unity. Yeah. What else do we have here? Pious polity. Having now I'm going to read because I want to learn about what pious polity means. Having spiritualist values be reflected in our empire governing ethics will please the union of divine guidance. Affects faction. I don't know how you would affect that. Probably maybe with an edict or a policy. I don't know how you could even turn that on and off. Homogeneity. Homogeneity, yes. Pious minds think alike, and having at least 25% of our population be some form of spiritualist will please the divine union of divine guidance. Okay, so it's not that we can't have xenos in our religion, aliens in our religion. Apparently are okay, because we're not xenophobes. But we want at least a quarter of the population to be religious. Oh man, we're gonna load up on those priests, folks. What else do we got here? Don't worry about it. And then, of course, here's your unity. This can get very high. You can get unities coming off of a faction, just for an example, well past 50. You can probably hit plus 100, depending on how hard you go into stuff. We're pretty well suited for it because we actually get good boosts from being fanatical spiritualists, planetary unification, which is temporary, evolving society, one vision. Those are more permanent for us. Those are permanent for us. So that's cool. So let's just look over real quick at our leader here. You can see each leader, in particular, Bad Luck Morgan, is spiritualist. Or if we come over to the government tab, right? As we mouse on each one, spiritualist, 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 and spiritualist. Do we have any non-spiritualist leaders? Yeah, let's go to our leaders tab real quick. Our officials. I have to mouse to each. Oh, where's it showing it? Here. Oh, wow. Okay. Spiritualist. I'm just trying to see if any of our leaders are not spiritualists. Oh, wow. Oh, there we go. We have one pacifist. Old Sailing on there is our only pacifist leader. Just so you know. Not so important. Okay, let's jump back into the governments. Let's jump back to the factions. So, the only thing I would say with this is this will grow over time as more pops join in, and you just keep as many of these issues turned on as possible. Not something you have to mess with often, but you might find something where it says wants to promote migration. It's a faction that has to do with workers and migration or whatever the heck. And you may then have to go into your edicts and policies tab and come over here and turn on resettlement allowed or something like that. And every now and again, although you don't mess with your policies too much, the main reason I would ever edit one of these policies from the default for the civilization we made with our given ethics would be to satisfy a faction. Where you're like, oh, you know what? We don't really care about debris from space battles. We're going to come in here, we're going to say scavenge debris instead of research debris. What do I really care? And you might make little changes like that. We've yet to really look at any of the policy options. However, we do have additional edicts, and as you know, we're huge fans of edicts. Now, interestingly, we've got campaigns that we've generated that are very similar to, well, they are edicts, but they're called campaigns. They take energy instead of unity. Now, you got to be cautious, because if we turn these on, initially it'll cost us 11 and 11 energy, and then to maintain them, it will be 8 per month. We do pay that out of this number up here. So that 31 would drop by 16 down to, that's right, say it with me, folks, 15. There you go. But we do still benefit from our edict scaling of our civilization. So look at these big reductions. The base cost for the recycling campaign would normally be 15 energy. We get it down to, well, 8 obviously, because it says 8 there. But we're doing that because of small empire size still, cutthroat politics, fanatic spiritualist, and charismatic leader. So all those things help us suppress these numbers, making them way more manageable for us to have turned on pretty much all the time, which is what we're shooting for. So the education campaign, I won't read the whole blurb, but ultimately leader experience gain plus 10%. It'll last until council. Yay, I want that. I want that so much. Boom, right there. And secondly, recycling campaign, pop consumer good upkeep minus 10%. That is this consumer good right up here. Now, This is a tricky one. Right now, our overall population's pretty small. What are we sitting at here? Oh, does it not show our population up there? It doesn't. We're probably at 6,000 pops. Yeah, 6.1k pops. Ooh, that was a good guess. I'm seeing that right there, 6.1. Okay, so check it out. Each pop, no matter what they're doing, whether they're civilian or they're a worker, so regardless of their job, are consuming a little bit of consumer goods, just like they're consuming a little bit of food. This will be a 10% reduction to that. Now, again, this does not relate to how priests take consumer goods and turn them into unity. It will not affect that at all. It's just they're to live their lives, like when they go home, when they go out on vacation, doing what they do for entertainment. On a personal level, that's what they're consuming. Now, here's the trick. The overall amount our pops are taking up for their upkeep is probably pretty small. Say it's 10 consumer goods a month. A 10% reduction will save us 1 consumer good. However, it's costing us 8 energy per month. So that this campaign may be a really big waste of energy. Because we know, based off of like the rough translation of energy to trade and then trade to consumer goods, 1 consumer good on the market is way less than 8 energy. It's probably around 3 energy, 4 energy, with translations. But you sell energy to then buy consumer goods, whatever. 5 at the most. So this would probably be an overall loss right now. Let's do something. Let's mouse over our consumer goods and just check really quick. We can see that consumed is negative 47.74. Jobs, meaning priest jobs, research jobs, are using 24.31, and our pops are taking 23.43. So I said 10. So ultimately, that would save us 2.3 consumer goods. That's getting close to 8 energy. That's getting around in the ballpark of, but it's hardly worth it still. Like, even if, maybe losing an energy or 2, maybe gaining an energy. Doubtful, though. Doubtful. So you have to be cautious. When would this campaign be valuable? Well, probably when we have 60k, not 6k, 60k, then, obviously this will climb with empire size, but then we might be able to save 23 consumer goods, and this might only cost us 16 energy to maintain. I'm just spitballing potentialities, but I don't want you to just think that you would automatically turn on any ability because it's green. You say green is good. No, Stellaris very much is an economics, accounting game. So you need to do a little bit of accounting, because I'm almost certain that turning on recycling campaign would bury this by -8, and we would maybe, let's just do it. Let's just do it. I'm guessing we're going to save all of about 2 consumer goods. Like, this will jump up to about 29, and obviously we know how much they'll drop. So let's just do it. We'll run the clock forward. So just be watching the 27 and the 31. Now, bear in mind, we're going to lose, because of the education campaign for our leaders, we're going to lose an additional 8 on the energy. But let's run it and watch our numbers right there. We gained 2 consumer goods. Obviously, that dropped down by 16. Did it? The 16 plus. Wow, that math doesn't seem quite right. So somehow we gained 2 energy. I don't know. Let's jump into our market, though. Let's click on consumer goods. You can see the buy price is, in fact, coming in at 2.6 trade per consumer good. So we're saving about 5.2 trade. There's probably a little decimal rounding in there. And if we jump over to energy, we can see that energy sells for 0.7. So 8 energy, if we were to sell it off, we would get 5.6 trade. And we know that buying 2 consumer goods would be 5.2. So that means we're losing a little bit of energy. I'm pretty sure that's what it means. Yeah. We're getting a little less value. Now, again, because that consumer good savings is probably 2.3, not 2. And I don't know if it rounds everything down. Like, if it only counts whole numbers, to the lowest total. What would be, what's that called in programming when you floor? It's flooring a number, meaning you take the largest whole number and chop off any remainder because it doesn't represent a whole car, right? It's like, oh, we've got the frames of the car and the wheel, but we don't have any engines or glasses or interior, so we don't actually have an entire extra car. We've got part of a car, but it doesn't count as a car. Think of that. So it's flooring the numbers, I think, for the most part in Stellaris, I think. Let me know if anyone knows. That's a super nerd question. Bottom line, it's not a good edict. It's not a good edict for us right now. It's not ready yet. It's not ready for prime time. So we're going to just turn that off. No big deal, folks. I know we're mad about edicts, but we're mad about edicts helping us. I don't want to say don't be stupid, but don't be silly with running your empire. Play around, have fun, take risks, but don't just flush your resources down the toilet unnecessarily. That's like right now, I have 2 colony ships in the queue, and I know I only need 1. I could delete the second colony ship, but I risk not getting the resources back. I literally don't know. It's just not something I've done before. But I would rather just sit on a colony ship and pay 1 energy upkeep a month for several years until we need it than lose 200 food, 200 consumer goods, and 200 alloys. Right? That's a trade-off I'm going to do to not be stupid. It was not smart to build a second colony ship. I'm not exactly sure how or why I did that. But at this point, I would rather just have the damn ship and keep all those resources. Okay, let's run the clock. We want to make sure that our ships are progressing. Let's just check real quick. The Coogan is surveying. We're trying to get Castor done. And we should be building out... I think we actually did need to wait. We'd used up so much alloy, we couldn't get our additional star bases made, but now we can. So let's read this first, though. ISS Coogan Amon... New resource discovered. The Amon discovered a previously unknown strategic resource dubbed exotic gases in the Castor system. Ooh, we're going to claim the Castor system. That's great. They have various potential applications, including advanced energy-based weaponry, force fields, starship fuel, and even recreational drugs. Ooh, we like those. Recreational drugs. Yeah, it's fine. It's fine, kids. Don't do drugs. They're bad for you. That's all I'm going to say. I don't want to get demonetized. No, just kidding. No, I wouldn't want to encourage anybody to use recreational drugs. You gotta. Drugs are dangerous. That's all. Okay, there we go. We've all learned something today. We cannot extract this resource yet, but we could establish control over the system for future exploitation. We are sure to find more of these types of resources as we continue to explore the galaxy, each with unique properties and applications. Right there, exotic gases, the little green flame thing. I only say recreate. It's like running your empire in real life. You just you can take chances, but don't be silly. Don't be silly with your life and your health. That's all. There you go. All right, we got some stuff popping up here. I do want to make sure that we are building ahead. So the SHQ system is ready to claim. So we'll spend 67 influence and 90 alloy right there. We've only got the 1 constructor. And the SQ system is going to be pretty sweet. But we have a little bit of time. Remember, our our first colony ship's not done, and we have to send it all the way around. But we'll stay on top of that. What are you doing here? What's the Atalante doing? Also surveying. That's fine. So both of our science ships and our constructor have jobs to do. Let's jump back into our military fleet. So if we click on the little green ship icon right here, it'll bring up a stack of all the fleets. We can now reorder these pretty easily by splitting the fleet. And what that did is it split 3 of 7 out and an additional 4 of 4 here. Now, I did that because I want to essentially give 4 ships. So I just drug this block of 4 and drop that into this bar here for the hijack fleet. And I'm then going to click over the ships I want to send over. So you can get very micro. You could send ships. I didn't even need to split that fleet first if I didn't want to. When I emptied out that 4th fleet, though, so I had 3 fleets. I split 1 into 2 because neither of those fleets had a commander. and then I drug the 4th Fleet, and I sorted all those ships over into the Bad Luck Lawrence commander ship. It then deleted the 4th Fleet because it was empty. Let's do the same thing. Let's practice one more time. Let's grab this 3 of 7 Fleet for the asteroid ambushers. Yeah, they're going bye-bye. We aren't going to have any asteroid ambushers fleet anymore. Although you can always name the fleet, I think, whatever you want. But here we go. We drop it into here, and we click these corvettes. You see, each corvette actually has its own name, which is pretty cool. Oh, this is a great way to see the individual ships, by the way. You see, this is literally the Corvette ISS Blasted Hull. That's the name, the Blasted Hull. It shows the class, Crow class, who it belongs to, Principality of Fula, that's us. Military power, rank, regular. So there are a couple of points in the game where you can adjust your ship's experience level. And I always would look around for an experience bar. I don't see that. I'm assuming when you get into fights, when you fight space monsters, when you're exploring your systems, you gain experience for your ship and for your fleet. But in this case, the rank is regular. I'm assuming you have green, which would be novice. They've never been in a battle, or they're new to space. Regular, probably elite, or probably regular veteran elite. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll see if we can figure that out. But there, again, though, there's no real meter or experience bar or anything like that I see. So, don't sweat it. Anyway, there we go. We've combined the fleets down. We just have 2 fleets now, each under one of our commanders. And you can see the experience bar for the commander right there. Maroon and Jones, that's their experience bar. And down here is Badlock Lawrence's experience bar. Just moving along. I'm going to click onto these 5 ships here. Let's see, how do I open that? You could drag or drop this? No. Let's see. Oh. That's weird. I want to be able to see the 5 individual ships in there. Is there a way to do that? Fleet manager? Oh, here's our emptied out fleets. FYI, if you ever wanted to reconstitute the asteroid ambushers, you could. Fleet manager, by the way, you can reach right here on the little pop out. F9. But I wanted to see if there was a... Oh, and then here's our ship. So, how do we get into that? Can I move this? No, I can't. Fleet manager. I just wanted to see the individual ships again. Rank experienced. So the Unyielding Faith ship is experienced. Holy Avatar experienced. Divine Fury experienced. The Flying Duke is regular. Regular for the Hayrid Inn. Slaver Lament, regular. Sweet Space Maid, regular. Okay, and let's click on the next fleet. No. Oh, wow. Sorry, guys, I'm really... I don't know why this has popped up, and then down here, it won't let me see. I was really expecting it to be able to let me see the individual ships better. Let's close out of here. So that's the hijack fleet. If I go back to the belt manglers, there we go. Okay, that brought it up. And I'm just going to go through here again. We have regular, 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 and regular. Okay, so our newer ships are regular. I think the original 3 ships we had are experienced, or maybe they're the ones that went into combat and survived, possibly. All right, enough of that. Let's do repairs completed on the fleet. Fantastic. We did get the mineral district done on Isius Prime. And we can see we have popped up from 22 minerals to 37. That's pretty good gains. I don't mind that. And we have another icon that's shown up on Fula. Clearable blocker. This planet has clearable blockers that are preventing us from fully exploiting the resources. Okay, let's check that real quick. Let's jump in here. Let's jump to management. Here's our planetary features. And yeah, you know, your home world starts out with a few interesting features. Now, they can be cleared by energy. Blockers can be cleared by energy. It gets pretty expensive, but we do have a good surplus of energy, 7.4K. If we skip around to our other worlds, let's go to Isius. If you look here, all of the blockers on Isius are red. Quicksand Basin, and you can see this is grayed out. The shovel, even with 500 energy in a half a year, we couldn't clear out these quicksand basins, this deep sinkhole, 2 deep sinkholes, and an impassable mountain. Why? Because we don't have the technology to clear that type of blocker yet. That's right, you have to research each technology for each discrete type of blocker. So not something I usually pursue in the early game because we don't need the districts locked up by these 5 blockers. Let's jump over to Elysia real quick. More deep sinkholes, more quicksand basins. That's it. She only has 2 of them. We can see that's right there, 2 blockers. So let's jump all the way back to Fula now. Your capital world, I think everyone's are going to have the same 3 blockers to start, all of which you can clear. An industrial wasteland, if we clear this, it'll give us, it'll unblock the Syrian desert and give us 2 extra max generator districts. This one, 2 more max energy generator districts, giving us a total of 4 more districts, and a sprawling slum, which would give us 100 pops right now. Let's do that. Let's clear the blocker for the sprawling slums, give us something to do for 128 days, spend a little bit of our energy. So, not bad. And it'll make that stupid icon go away, which I appreciate. Here we go. New tradition pick. What do we have here? Courier network. We're closing in on a time where it would be smart to start reducing our empire size. We're almost to 100. We're going to get there pretty soon. But we don't need it just yet. I think we want new life. Pop growth speed 10%. Let's take that first. And within the few months, 26 months, by the time the next tradition pick is available, we'll hit courier network. And it should correspond roughly with when this hits 100 up here for our empire size, which will help pull it down a little bit because this will reduce the empire size from the systems and the planets. We're slowly growing the number of colony planets, and we're slowly growing the number of systems as we claim more and more and more. So we'll be, it's like a downward pressure on that altogether. Otherwise, we can run the clock. An anomaly. Fantastic. I'll pause that, and let's click on here. Unidentified object in the Halvem System 1. This is Salin Ann. It's a routine exploration mission for her. Take 100 days, 3 months. That's fine. It's not too much. She's not in a rush. At this point, we have our eyes set on the Castor system. That's our next main goal. Other than that, we can kind of take the foot off the gas a little bit here. So a small rectangular object on the surface of this planet is deflecting all scanning beams like a mirror. Our sensors are unable to determine its material composition. Yeah, let's investigate it. What the heck? That's happening right up here, by the way, and we'll continue the game. Now, once the ISS Amon is done surveying the Castor system, we're going to push them further out into this arm because we do want to find a 5th colony world. We don't want to just confine our boundaries to just 4 worlds at this point, if possible. Here we go. This is an event. Due to a major clerical error, parts of Elysia Prime have fallen behind in infrastructure maintenance and accommodation services. The people live in rather bleak conditions and will not tolerate it for long. Remedy these problems will cost us time and effort. We have 2 options. Unfortunate, which is you do nothing. It costs you nothing. However, it adds 2 blockers. That's what those red diagonal hashes are. A sprawling slum and an industrial wasteland. We don't want more blockers. We want less blockers here, folks. Or we must invest in the area. Seriously? Okay. It's all right. It will cost us 500 energy, which we can afford. It will cost us 100 influence, which is just... we can afford it. It is expensive, though. However, the small benefit is that we gain 1,885 unity. That's a pretty good chunk. So I would not mind trading the energy for unity at a 3-to-1 ratio. I'm totally cool with that. But the influence, 100 influence at, again, our roughly 3 to 4 is 2 to 3 years worth of influence gain. That hurts. We can do it, though. We should have enough influence left to gain Sonus when the time is right, and then Castor when the time is right. So yeah, we need to invest in the area. There we go. big ups there on our Unity, which I'll take. And the clock is running. We just founded a new faction. Awesome. And oh, that's the same event there. We can dismiss that anomaly. That was the one we just read about that the Atalante is currently working on. Right there. And then here we go. New Prosperity Faction. Let's click on it. Here we go. Peaceful Progress Network. So check this out. Under the ethics icons, you can see that, remember our initial original Union of Divine Guidance was spiritual based. However, the Peaceful Progress Network is based off of two ethics: pacifism and oh no, tooltip issue. It's all right. That is what the heck is that icon, you guys? Materialist, maybe? Xenophile, maybe? Right? Like that. It's all connected. Versus xenophobe would be like one dot surrounded by other dots. I think it's. But check it out. It is not letting me mouse on there. Do we have any other blurbs? Oh, it is xenophile. Oh, I guessed right. Oh, right there, xenophile and pacifist ethos. Cool. So that is the xenophile ethic. Now, we don't have any xenophiles in our empire yet, but we might start attracting them via this faction. So check it out. This faction is only at a 45% approval. So it's below average, and that's because they have a massive minus 20% because they are not represented on the council. Not only are there no xenophiles, there are no pacifists on our council because we just have one pacifist in all of our leaders. So you could fix that. We could go and get we could go through the available leaders for hire, find one that is a pacifist, hire them, and then take someone that's on the council out of their council position and put that pacifist in there. So we could adjust that and get rid of that negative 20 and probably turn it into a positive 5, right? Oh, sorry. Oh, come on, pop up. Yeah, there it is. Represented on council would give you a +5. That's a 25-point change. Minus 20 to +5 is 25 total percentage points drift from one thing. So why would we do that? Well, because we would get more unity out of this faction. Now, notice the Union of Divine Guidance started at just 3 unity. Well, it's growing quickly. So the amount of unity you get out of your factions increases really rapidly. And I don't know what the exact math is. Like, it's not really made for you to track that way. They just don't give you that information. But you can see the number of pops that have gotten pulled into the Union of Divine Guidance is 6 times what it was. It started around a 250-ish. And now it's almost 1,600. So it's attracting a massive amount of our population. 83% support with 16% support here for the Peaceful Progress Network. If you add those two numbers together, it's 100%. So yeah, essentially, if I'm not mistaken, for however many factions you have, the total support number is going to equal 100%. So this number being lower or higher doesn't hurt you because all in all, it's just a share of the slices of the pie. You have the whole pie all the time. What you want to watch out for is approval. This is approval kind of within the faction, I would say. So this 85% represents the people within the divine guidance, within that collective. Some of them are quite happy, but within the Peaceful Progress Network, many of the people within that faction are not happy because they are not represented on the council. So they're like, boo, we're at minus 20% because of that. We don't feel represented. The divine guidance people they don't in any way affect that 45% for the Progress Network. So I'm only pointing out because you have approval and support confusing, but again, the support is always going to add up to 100% total is how it should work. It doesn't matter if these numbers are high or low. It doesn't hurt you anyway, but these ones do. Whatever's going on with the Divine Guidance faction does not affect the approval of the Peaceful Network faction. It's internal. Approval is an internal number for that faction. So how do we fix this? Well, if we look over here at the 4 dots that comprise the Peaceful Progress Network, we have 2 greens, a yellow, and a red. So now let's jump over to the issues. Okay, solid liquidity. They want us to keep at least 5,000 energy stored at all time in our bank. Right, so their interest is economic in a sense. Well, we have that covered. We'll try to keep it above 5,000, sure. What else do we have? Keep the peace. Affects faction approval. Let's see, development requires stability. Not engaging in warfare will please the Peaceful Progress Network. Cool, no warfare. Ruler has empire ethic. Our ruler does not. No, our ruler is a spiritualist. I'd say a spiritualistic fanatic, if I dare say. All praise. She's awesome. And then represented on council, that's the big one. That's the big one. So what happens when you only have 45% approval versus 85% approval? What's the detriment to that? Why do we want to push up the 45 even higher? Well, let's jump over here. Down at the very bottom of this pop-up, multiplied by 4.5 due to the support and approval level of the faction. And then let's mouse onto Divine Unions 13, multiplied by 43.1 due to the support and approval level of the faction. Yeah. So essentially, yeah, you could probably do the math for this. I won't drag us down, but we're getting almost all of the benefit from these 1,600 people in this faction. And we're getting about half of the benefit from these 263 people in this faction. And so that's how these things are multiplying out. But yeah, I mean, 4.5 versus 43.1. This faction is like 10 times more valuable to us. So bear that in mind. But do I want to appoint someone to the council and switch that over? I could. Unity is very important to our people for this playthrough. So let's take a look at our government. Who among us could be replaced with a leader that is a pacifist? Well, let's jump back over to our leaders. If you recall, we have one scientist who is a pacifist. This is Salin Ann. She could do this job. I mean, she's out there surveying, but she can hold a job, but she would have to be the head of research. So this is the accounting part of Stellaris. Do we want to take our very awesome Voidborn Mary, who has Spark of Genius, which is a counselor effect of +3 research speed, and who is a level 2 field manipulation expert that speeds up research on all field manipulation projects, and replace him with Salin Ann, who does have the Empire effect as a counselor of being a champion for the people and increase the happiness of all of our people by 3%. That's not a bad thing. Remember, every percentage of happiness gets you a little fraction more percentage of output from jobs. So it would benefit us, definitely. But here's the thing. The archaeologist, that trait only has an effect when she's out there being a scientist on a science ship. It doesn't help in the council position. So of her 2 abilities, Salin Ann only has 1 ability that would be beneficial to her counselorship. Her other ability is beneficial being an archaeologist. We're going to want to have her do that at some point. But Voidborn Mary, not only is she 1 level higher, well, don't worry about that. I mean, Salin Ann could gain a level eventually too. So don't hold that against her. But both of Voidborn Mary's abilities work as a counselor effect. Empire effect is counselor. Empire effect is counselor. So she brings a lot more to the job as the head of research. So I would not pull her out of there just to gain that 25% swing from that faction. One other thing we could look at, what if we were to pull out our Minister of State or our Minister of Defense? Ooh, could we find a pacifist military commander? I only say that because, listen, Drowned Morgan over here actually has quite a few abilities. Fertility Preacher, yes. Logistics Understanding, yes. And Imperial Heir, well, that's not bad. But both of these two are counselor positions, so she adds a lot in her role as Minister of State. We like that. Over here, though, we get the only benefit we're getting from Bad Luck Lawrence is the Minister of Defense via his traits, via his leader traits, is defensive platform, damage, and hull points. We haven't built a single defensive platform, so that's not really helping us. The fact that he's a level 3 helps us, but his trait doesn't help us. Let's see if we can find a commander to hire that's a pacifist. This is a little ludicrous, but what the heck. Let's jump down here into the Leaders tab. Let's sort by commanders. So here's the 2 we've hired, and here are 3 that are available. Oh my gosh, they are all pacifist. Oh, I think we're gonna win, folks. Who to hire? There's so many options. Okay, they're all level 1, so it's not great, but we want to do this. I can look at the age. Younger's better, just because we get more years out of them. But in general, they're all young enough. It's not a big deal. We could hire any of them. So now it's going to come down to, do any of the 3 commanders here have a counselor trait that would benefit us? So right here, no. Unyielding is a military fleet effect. Okay. Careful. Military fleet effect, army effect, and finally, heavy hitter, army effect. But I still want it, because as we've pointed out already, the defense engineer, we're getting nothing for that. So I think we can make this change out here, folks. I think we can do this. Of these, do any of these seem interesting to us? Well, I'm not really that interested in the army effect. Hull ship points, I like that, and they're young. They're 5 years younger, so let's hire them. Boom, hire, yes, perfect. Now, we'll jump back to the government tab. We are going to replace Bad Luck Lawrence. We simply do that right here with this. And we're going to come in here and we're going to choose Slippery Beard. Oh, yeah. That's a good name. That is a really good name, folks. We now have a new Minister of Defense, Slippery Beard, and he is a pacifist. Okay, what else do we got going on here? Leader acquired. Okay, close that down. New prosperity faction. We just looked at that. And finally, idle leader. Yeah. Well, actually, since we have an extra leader, hold on. Jump to our commanders. Slippery Beard's the Minister of Defense, but needs a job. Oh, could we make them a governor of one of our planets? I think so, right? Let's jump over here to Elysia. Does not have a leader. Let's put Slippery Beard in charge. Boom. There you go. And what Slippery Beard is bringing to the table, remember, if you mouse over here, you can see when I mouse over their level icon, planet governor effects. Plus 2% to all the worker outputs, soldier jobs, plus 100, crime -1, empire size from pops -2%. Cool. So just, squeezing a little more out of him. But I think that means all 3 of our worlds now have a leader. Obviously, our capital has the Drowned Morgan. Emperor, our heir apparent. Okay. And Slippery Beard and Big Esmeralda. Cool. So we're using our leaders pretty efficiently. We're squeezing the most out of them. I noticed our trades dropped to 0. Let's modify that real quickly. I know we're almost done for today here. I never want anything to sit at 0 or negative. I always want to be growing, even if just by 1 or 2. So to do that, let's sell more food. Sure, yeah, let's sell more food. There you go. Let's push that up 5 more. Screw it. Let's do 10 more. We have way more food than we need. Add edit. Boom. Let's run the clock. Our food will drop down to about plus 24, but this trade should pop up to plus 6. There you go. That works. So we're doing a little bit of micro micromanaging of stuff, but we're keeping everything growing in the positive. Again, I don't mind having surpluses of food, mineral, energy, whatever. It's okay. It's not going to hurt us. We can certainly be more efficient, but I'm making a point of not trying to be too elaborate and too tight with our food production, our energy, our minerals. I'm just trying to kind of play it like a really sort of hands-off kind of, autopilot way of playing. But you could certainly tighten the belt on all that stuff and really micro it in. But here we go. So, construction just finished right there at Ishikyu. Very cool. Our colony ship is actually ready. Let's grab the ship and we will move them. It's going to take them 787 days, so 2 years to get there. That's fine. By the time they arrive, we should be ready with the Castor system all ready to take over. Now, the question is, though, with our single constructor ship, do we send the Conway onto Saunus and claim it? We can. We have the influence and we have the alloy. Or should we grab some more minerals right here out of the Ishikyu system? Because they got some fat mineral deposits. Let's jump into Ishikyu real quick. Yeah, check this out. Let's build one station here and get the 6 minerals for one station. It's a good use of 100 minerals, and it's a good use of our time, and then we'll scoot them out of here. So let's very specifically just build that station, and then we'll scoot them on ahead. We'll jump out of here. We'll run the clock. Here we go. We just completed that anomaly, alien mural. While conducting surface scans of Halvam 1, scientist Selenan on board the ISS Atalante discovered what appeared to be an artificially carved slab of rock covered in alien writing. No other signs of alien activity on the planet have been detected, and exactly how this mural came to be here is a mystery. We've prepared a special project to translate the text. Fascinating, Captain. And this will start the special project Translate Alien Mural. We're going to do that. I'm pausing. Well, hold on. We're going to run the clock past the first of the month. There we go. Because we're going to look at our faction and see what change in our Minister of Defense did. But before we get to that, I know it's exciting. I'm excited equally. We're going to jump up here to our situation log. Got a couple things going on here, folks. Translate Alien Mural available. Has a science ship in orbit? Yeah, we could do that right now. So this is essentially just an anomaly turned into a special project. Okay, just consider it another anomaly. We don't got to overthink it. I can jump right there. I'm going to click on the little to-go camera. Here we go. Yeah, we have a science ship in the system surveying still. We'll say, no, we don't need to finish surveying. Surveying can wait. I want you to do this special project. So I grab them. I click here, say research this project. So it's going to cancel the survey order. We're overriding what they were working on. We're saying, no, jump on this project. I want to know what that tablet says. That's fun. We'll get the results on that in a while. I'm not exactly sure how many days it's going to take. And then the other thing we wanted to do, because the month rolled around, is jump back into our government tab, our factions tab, and yes, there's our approval. It went from 45 to 70. We said the swing would be 25 points. 45 minus 70 is 25. There you go. Interestingly, the represented on the council is still red? Huh. It's not supposed to be red, folks. It should be green. That's a little bug, right? Maybe they're saying, no, we want a representation on the council to be larger, or we want the Empress to be a pacifist, maybe. But in my mind, if the effect is a green plus 5%, then this should be green. Because if you look at it, represented on a council for 5%, if we jump up here to divide guidance, it's identical, right? Ish? Okay. I don't, but here, more importantly, I don't care if that's right. Oh, no, there it switched. Oh, come on, you guys. Boo. No, it's no big deal. Just these are little bugs. It doesn't matter. It is working, so it's fine. Yeah, it's not changing to green, but there did change green. Once I switched off and then back on, it updated. It is green. That's awesome. So the only thing they're slightly dissatisfied with right now is that our ruler, the Empress, does not share their ethic. But as far as I can tell, there's no negative to that, right? So yellow's kind of like could be improved. Maybe if she was, we would get a plus 10%. Yeah, let's see. Let's jump back to the divine guidance. We would get a plus 15% if the ruler had that ethic. So why is this 85 and this is 70? It's because your ruler has one ethic right now, and it can't satisfy both factions. Yeah. However, by pushing that to 70%, remember we were at sitting at about 4.5 multiplier. Let's mouse over. We are now up to 15.2. That's not just because we went from 45 to 70. It's also because this is growing. 28%. Well, more accurately, this is growing. But both factions by the way, are growing in size. You can see these numbers still here. The support still equals 100% combined. 71 plus 28 and change is 100%. But the population has grown another 240, and this one has grown is more than doubled. So yeah, we're gaining unity hand over fist, which is fantastic. We just keep shooting up through the unity trajectory here. So I have no complaints. There's nothing else we really need to do with factions now. They'll just grow and grow and grow. And here's a nice summary over here. This is approval, faction support, and total supporters. Simple, right? Yeah, there you go. There's a manage faction option. We'll look into that another time. We're not going to look at that now. Yeah, there's even more options in there. I didn't realize that button was there, but there's more we can do with it. We're an hour and change in. Wow. Interesting. That was an interesting session. Where are we at here? Listen, what do we succeed at? Well, we got a colony ship made. We've sent it on the way. We're just a couple systems away. The gosh dang Amon is still researching, is surveying the last object. Castor is almost completely surveyed. Very nicely, they have some exotic gases in the Castor system that we'll claim at some point once we gain that technology. We don't have it yet, but that's a very valuable strategic resource. We have a very valuable mining station that the Conway is working on, which will push up our minerals. We did add more miners into the Empire, and we're up to 39 mineral production altogether. We're sitting really nice at our energy surplus, our mineral surplus, food, consumer goods, and alloy. All the 5 bases, we're solid. We're not, risking running out of any of them, and we're building up surpluses on all of them. We have a huge amount of unity and almost no research. It's just by design. A little bit of trade. So yeah, I'd say the economy is healthy. Next time around, we may want to build more mining districts. You see the pigeonhole I'm in here. I just want to build and build and build. I in particular want to get a bunch more priests and stuff, but I am always trying to count my trade credits, counting my pennies, because I just don't have enough minerals to build the way I want to. So, yeah, maybe. Jeez. We could switch. We could switch Isius Prime from an ecclesiastical center to a mining colony. The temples would still work. But our priest output and priest up, we would lose a little bit of output, but we could get our mining districts faster. We might need to do that. It breaks the role play a little bit of what we're doing, where we're just unity and spiritualists and priests, temples all the way. But to get temples that we desperately love and want so much, we need minerals. I'm going to leave that for the next episode. We might reconfigure Isius Prime here. It wouldn't cost us much. Yeah, let's do that. We'll redo that in the next session. So if you watched, folks, thank you so much. We'll keep closing on Castor. Let's build a few more Corvettes, and let's reconfigure Isius into a mining world. All right, take care.